Şimdi ekranlarımıza gelecek oturum içerisinde de iki farklı konuğumuz, biri Belçika, diğeri Almanya'dan bizlerle birlikte olacaklar ve bir de Türkiye'den konuğumuz, değerli bir konuğumuz bize moderatörlük edecekler. Döngüselliğe giden yolda yeni iş modelleri, stratejiler ve inovasyondan bahsedecekler bize. Evet, öncelikle davet edelim, Sayın Yavuz Eroğlu bizlerle birlikte olacaklar. PAGEV Yönetim Kurulu Başkanı Sayın Yavuz Eroğlu'nu ağırlayacağız. Aynı zamanda iki yurt dışından konuğumuz var demiştik. Onlardan biri European Plastic Converters'tan Genel Müdür Sayın Alexander Danhes bizlerle birlikte olacaklar. Bir diğer konuğumuzsa Korozo Grup İnovasyon Genel Müdür Yardımcısı Varen Şav bizlerle birlikte olacaklar. Ben hemen sözü Sayın Eroğlu'na bırakırken tüm konuklarımıza hoş geldiniz diyorum.
Evet, Sevinç Hanım, tekrar çok teşekkür ederim. First of all, I'd like to thank the Sustainability Academy for this important event, Green Business Summit 2021. And now we're going to do the PAGEV panel on the road to circularity, new business model, strategies and innovation. So just to start with, for ones who has the first time to meet PAGEV, I'd just like to give some small information about PAGEV. We are the NGO of the plastics industry in Turkey. So we represent the value chain in the plastics industry. And the main focus on the industry in this NGO is a sustainable business. So when we talk about sustainable business, that is the reason why we are here with my colleagues over here. What we do for sustainability, the main thing, the innovations or the main strategies for PAGEV is mainly to work with all the stakeholders for a sustainable plastic cycle. How we do this? Just to give some examples, we work with the Ministry of Environment. We are the Green Dot company, one of the Green Dot companies in Turkey. And we have a company called PAGEV, a subsidiary, which works with the government, Ministry of Environment. Just last year, we have organized the recycling of 13 million tons of recycling, packaging recycling. Also, if you compare it in the last 7 years, we have organized about it's more than 50 million population recycling in Turkey in different municipalities. We have done education for the students together with the Ministry of Environment. 50,000 students has been educated on the recycling and waste management, which are the main pillars, the students. And apart from that, we work, we have our own schools. We have vocational schools. And because we have our own schools, for the sustainability, one of the important issues for the industry is to make an eco-design for our products in the plastic industry. So what we try to do when we are teaching these young guys who are going to be in the plastics industry in the future, the main thing we want to teach them is that the product does not end when we produce it. The product ends its life when it is go back inside the recycling and go back into the circularity. So they design the products accordingly, which is the main, let's say, long-term solution also from the industry side to these problems. So I would like to give you main ideas, but there are also some other issues that the industry is focused on the circularity. You know that there are some also issues regarding the plastics when they are used afterwards. So mainly when we look at them, the main problem is for sure is littering. Littering is a problem. We need education. This is one of the important parts. But also the main important issue is the waste management infrastructure. Because if you don't have a good waste management infrastructure, even though you have people who are well educated, they are careful about littering, then you still have the problem of not being circular, but still going on the old way, the old-fashioned linear. So we work with the government, we work with our own industry for improving the waste management system in Turkey. Thus, the main focus for sure in the plastic industry is the recycling, waste management infrastructure. And apart from that, one of the important issues is also, as I said, eco-design. We try to also, as an industry, to be, let's say, responsible in our system and to have a sustainable business environment, which is also goes through the eco-design. And apart from that, also the important issue is that also now there are some new problems that are arising, like the microplastics issues, for example. As an industry, we try to find innovations for them. For example, in Turkey, we are also representing the Operation Clean Sweep in Turkey. What we do with this Operation Clean Sweep, we know that the plastics is made from small granules, and these granules might also escape to the environment. And to stop it during the logistics, during the production, you need to have some kind of system. And we are the one to ensure that this system is there together with the Operation Clean Sweep. We license, we educate the industry so that they have a system there to stop it and to stop the leakage of these granules to the environment. And we also have, I left it to the last because Alexander Dongis is also the president of that one, the Waste Free Oceans Initiative here in Turkey, because marine litter is one of the important issues also, which is, let's say, the core problem that EU is approaching to the plastics issue also from one side. So we try to work on the marine litter issue in two ways. One of the ways in this Waste Free Oceans strategy is the main strategy is to work with the authorities for the waste management system, because we know that most of the waste comes from the land-based sources to the sea, 80% around, and also trying to collect what is on the sea, together with some special systems, which I'm sure that Alex will, as a president, he will more give information about this innovation of the plastics industry. I just want to sum up what we are doing here in Turkey. But now, today, I'm happy that we are together with two of my colleagues. First of all, I'd like to start with Alexander. Alexander Dongis is the managing director of EUPC. EUPC is the European Plastic Converters Association. It's the umbrella organization in Europe for all these plastic NGOs, and Brussels-based organization, which is following the sustainability and the plastics issues, all these issues about the plastics industry in Brussels in the EU level. So, and we know that EU is the forerunner in the sustainability issue in the world at this moment. And so all this information and mainly regulations comes from the EU. So we are really interested as the industry and also as the stakeholders, as the people who are keen on the sustainability, the new legislations in EU, especially on the plastic strategy, and how is the plastics industry reacting to it? Yes, Alex, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Yavuz, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few words. Yes, indeed, in Brussels we are running very fast when it comes to regulating plastics or plastics waste management in general. I remember I've been there quite some years, and it all started for me back in 1994, which is already quite some time ago, when the first packaging and packaging waste directive was implemented, basically because in 1992, 2 years before, Germany had taken some initiatives to regulate the collection of plastic bottles. So we want to keep our internal market, which is a huge market for all European countries, harmonized, and therefore we saw the packaging and packaging waste directive. Now, so many years later, we realized that there was more to be done on recycling plastic packaging in particular, where we had been collecting a lot for recycling, but we weren't really recycling everything in Europe. And I think that was a major issue. And that triggered regulators to really consider the existing regulations and to add some extra regulations.
Alex, I'm sure that our audience is very much keen. As you said, you don't recycle most of the goods in EU, and one of the key issues now in Turkey everybody's talking about is the import of the let's say, waste from EU. That's what you are talking about, I'm sure.
Exactly. So we want to be able to recycle our own waste. Let us be honest. I mean, the best circular economy is the closest one to you. So having this plastics waste moving around the world is not a good thing. So we really need to look into recycling our own waste, and every continent should be doing that. So on top of the packaging and packaging waste directive, basically a lot of things happen. First, the measuring point for countries to calculate the recycling targets have changed, and they've changed from input to the recycler to output of the recycler, which is going to be an important difference. So you will see over the next couple of years the targets that have been achieved by member states in Europe go down on average with 20-25%, even certain countries 30%, just because you have to change the measuring point according to the legislation. Then there is the new directive, the Single-Use Plastics Directive, which has created a tsunami, I would say, of complexity, because you're looking into new guidelines, new designs, the tethered caps, for example, new marking, the chaos around what is plastics, is a coated paper with plastics a plastics or not? So there are huge difficulties in this Single-Use Plastic Directive, which are taken very seriously by the regulators and the industries. So we have made progress since the publication of it. I think there will be some announcement made in the next couple of weeks and months, with some clear guidance on how this should be interpreted by the countries who need to implement it in their country.
Well understood. Because, as you said, the main problem also here in Turkey is that the clearance of this directive is not well understood, because still a lot of producers over here, they'd like to let's say, obey the rules and play to the game, but they don't know what is the rules of the game. Still unclear. So we would be really keen to hear about that. But I'd like to also hear from you about what EUPC is doing on also sustainability. And also, I know that you do a lot on the marine litter issue with the Waste Free Oceans initiative, which you are the president and co-founder. So, and we are also working with you here in Turkey, but can you give to our audience more insights of this initiative?
Yes, basically we're doing on a voluntary basis two important things. The first one is that we have started with the MORE platform, which stands for Monitoring Recyclates in Europe. We are really monitoring every single kilogram of used recycled material by the plastics converting industry in Europe. My industry is composed of 50,000 small and medium-sized enterprises. So through a digital process, these companies are able to register the volumes that they are using. Why are we doing this? We're doing this because we want to be transparent on the volumes, the quantities that we are using as converters of recycled material. This is very important because the plastic strategy from the European Commission aims to create a market of 10 million tons of recycled materials used in products. Now it's the converters which are using this material. So it's the converters who can declare basically how much volume they uptake in comparison also to the virgin material that they are using. And specifically today, in the economic situation and the supply issues we have on virgin material, this is of extreme importance. The second big project we are working on, yes, is Waste Free Oceans. Why are we doing this? We're doing this because we want to capture everything which has been leaked already into the environment, which goes beyond the EPR schemes or the collection systems. We need to get this cleaned up. And we need to do this on a voluntary basis, with devices, with whatever method we can. And by doing this, actually, you get into the educational process, because you do a cleanup action and people understand, together with beach cleanup, how important it is not to have the littering continuing as it is. We also want to use this kind of material to use it in new products, meaning bringing the recycling stream up to the maximum, going from iconic products using 100% recycled material to other products using mixed recycled material, or going through chemical recycling process, but taking care also of what is there in the environment today and reusing it, not putting it to landfill, not putting it to incineration. So these are two very important aspects I think our industry is working on.
Okay, so I agree with you, because the first thing about more, which you have explained very explicitly, is that now also there is a lot of issue, because everybody wants to use recyclates in their products, because everyone want to show that they are responsible and they're keen on the environment. But the thing is, how are we going to measure it? How are we going to measure how many % of recyclates in one product, and how are we going to certify it, and how are we going to have it approved by a government body or somebody that is really giving it an international way? So more...
I can add to that. That we have set up a certification scheme, which is actually harmonizing existing national schemes today on recycled content and measurement. This is extremely important. You may have heard also about the plastic tax. Yeah. The plastic tax, which is getting slowly into the European market. Spain, Italy being the first countries, even the UK for April 22. Now, if you get exemptions of that plastic tax on virgin material, you need to have audited and certified volumes of use of recycled material. And this can only happen through accredited certification bodies. Polycert is basically the new platform which is trying to harmonize and bring together all these accredited certification schemes that can measure recycled content with these thousands of companies that are going to use and are using recycled material and get tax deductions in the future.
Okay, well understood. By the way, to our audience who are interested in getting more information about monitoring Recycles Europe more, they can contact us or EUPC, because we are also representing EUPC's project here in Turkey. That's an important issue, as I said. One question, Alexander, last question about the Waste-Free Oceans, you said initiative. I know that there are a lot of people in Turkey, especially brand owners, who are interested in having a kind of, let's say, involvement in this marine litter cleanups and also, let's say, issues and in this kind of events. How they can be a part of it? I mean, how they can get use of this system? How they can be a part of the system?
Well, I think they have everything to support being involved with the organization to develop a product which contains ocean polymers, being involved in a cleanup operation. Today, the new digital community today will require brand owners, when they use recycled material, to even give a story about where does the recycled material is coming from. And if you link beach cleanups in a digital way to the storytelling, this is a huge opportunity for brand owners to really show what they are doing and where they get the material from. So it's really about transparency today, using the digital community and bringing all the efforts together. Waste-Free Oceans is also developing globally. So we started in Europe, we moved quickly to Istanbul, but we know that the Middle East, Africa, Asia, the Caribbeans, all of these continents, they are there and they need actions like what Waste-Free Oceans is doing.
Okay. Thank you very much, Alex. These are very fruitful and very up-to-date information from Brussels. Thank you. And now we go to Germany, to Warren Shaw. Warren Shaw is Corozo's Vice President for Innovation. Corozo is one of the pioneers in the flexible packaging in the Turkish market. It was, as I said, pioneers from the start, and also the perspective for their volume-wise business here in Turkey, both in industrial and also the consumer side. So the first thing I'd like to know from Warren is that what are the circularity goals and the innovations and the strategies to reach these ones for Corozo, Warren?
Thanks, Yavuz, and thanks very much to the organisers for having me and Corozo on this panel. I know why you're asking that question. I'm coming from the side that has to put the very clear vision that Alexandra presented into action. Yeah, we are a converter. We are Turkey's biggest converter, as we said, of packaging material. We focus on flexible packaging. A little example on my left here of a pouch that And it means that if you look at the waste that we see today, and Harold will say there is no waste, so we have to find a way. How do we get this waste that we see, which primarily comes from packaging? How do we actually move that to a circular, to make that part of a circular economy? As Alexandra said, there's two main aspects to that. There's making that waste ready for a circular economy, ready to be recycled in high yield, ready to be used in either in a circular economy in our own applications or in other areas of plastics processing. And the second part is incorporating that waste into our own products. Now we have very clear goals. Most of the packaging industry over the last few years has focused on this first part, making packaging ready for the circular economy. Our goal is that by 2030, all of our packaging that we produce across all of the sectors we are involved in is part of a circular economy. That means it is recyclable or it is compostable, etc. And we have and that's a very clear goal. We also have very specific goals around how our operations affect the circular economy at large. We are obviously a very large industrial producer, so we have very specific goals around our energy use, around promoting the use of renewable energy, water use, etc. in our operations. What might be very interesting in how these two come together is that as a plastics producer, we of course produce, and even in our own industrial waste, we produce this same waste that we would like to see part of a circular economy. And we integrate all of our waste back into our products where we can, or sell it for further applications. So there is none of our waste going to landfill, and that is our goal, and we're moving towards a zero waste certification on that. We're actually revising our strategy on this over the next few months, to be honest, revising our goals and to align those with our large customers, as you've said, as the large markets that we serve. And maybe that's a little bit a way that I can explain, a little bit more practically. It's nice to say we're aiming for 100% readiness for a circular economy, but practically, what are we doing? It's probably good for the audience to understand that flexible packaging itself, as I say, an example being a typical stick pack, as I've got here in the picture, is a fundamentally sustainable packaging type, very low weight. It uses the advantages of combining different substrates with different properties to create extreme low weight packaging, which means that there are innumerable savings around logistics costs, around the actual waste that is the packaging that is going to waste. But it has one big disadvantage, and that is that by combining these components, traditionally we've created these monsters that are not recyclable. You'll have polyester, nylon, aluminium, polyethylene all mixed together. Now, what our entire research programs at the moment, and more than research, actual practical developments on the market, is transforming our entire product mix to what we call monomaterial solutions. And our biggest developments so far focus around transitioning our products to all polyethylene or all polypropylene solutions. These are the most used polymers in the packaging industry. If you look at across the European markets and global markets, these are the streams where recycling has already been set up. So, and we have quite a lot. I mean, a good example would be that we have over 200 customer-specific projects at various stages of commercialization to put these on the market. So this is not just something we're doing in the lab. This is really happening. And hopefully a lot of consumers will be seeing those on the market shelves already. Now, the second part is, as a producer, we do food packaging. We also do non-food packaging, so in the hygiene sector, in the industrial sectors, as you said. This means that when we start to incorporate recycled materials, we have to be very careful about where it's used. Flexible packaging itself, for food applications, obviously it's food contact. Yeah, it is the package which extends the shelf life. It is direct contact with the food. It provides the barrier needed. So we don't want to introduce from a waste stream any impurities that will actually harm the primary purpose of that packaging. But of course, in the areas of non-food and in barrier packaging, you can incorporate post-consumer recycled and post-industrial recycled resins and recyclate into various parts of the packaging where you are less at risk for the quality of the packaging. And so we have a number of programs doing that, both from post-consumer sources and from our own internal post-industrial sources, through our own recycling units, etc., using, let's say, waste from low-grade solutions for a commodity market in a high-grade application for consumer non-food or something. So there's a number of examples there. I'm very excited with Alexandra. By the way, I've only just joined the Turkish packaging community. Started in Karozo in January, and very excited by what I see so far. And very excited to work with both you, Yavuz, and you, Alexandra, on a number of the initiatives you mentioned, incorporating ocean plastics into our products as part of that post-consumer stream. Working with you, Alexandra, to really understand as you said, to really create as part of this MORE program, visibility on the kind of packaging that we are putting on the market and how we are designing it for recycling processes. Yeah, I think that was a very long answer to a short question, Yavuz.
No, it was very informative, Warren. But just to give a small, let's say, not too deep technical, but information of this monster, you said, of this layered materials. You said that we make layered material because we want to save the food. For example, some layers help to save the food. It makes less food to go inside the garbage, etc. But at the end of the day, when it becomes waste, it's a problem. So one important issue is the chemical recycling. So just tell us about the chemical recycling. What's your idea about chemical recycling strategies? We would like to also hear about that.
Yes, certainly. And Alexandra, please jump in as well with your comments. We're working on these topics together. When the world of recycling can be split into, let's say, two broad streams. One being existing streams today tend to be based on mechanical recycling. And this is fundamentally taking a polymer, cleaning it, and then melting it again and regranulating it, and using that polymer in other applications. Now, this is very good for very closed streams, like, for example, a plastic bottle. I've got one sitting on my desk. These are always the same grade of polyester. These are high weight packaging compared to a pouch, but the same grade of polyester, which can be cleaned, recycled, and then used back again in a polyester bottle, but in a very closed loop. Now, in flexible packaging, as you said, we serve thousands of different markets, thousands of different customers and applications. So there's always a level of bespoke product. So we will get to a point where we will reach, 90–95% of one material, like a polyethylene or a polypropylene. We're doing a good job there, but ultimately, out of a mechanical recycling process, which collects post-consumer goods from all these different applications, it will be difficult to streamline that back into a single product and to prove that it's food contact safe. So there's this thing called chemical recycling, which is taking that plastic waste and in a high yield process, depending on how the packaging is developed, reducing it back to its monomer stage, reducing it back to a point where the polymer suppliers can use it in their cracking process and in their polymer production process. And through that process, it is, of course, absolutely clean, because this is a new chemical process, where you then produce from post-consumer material, you produce grades of polymer which are exactly equivalent to the ones that we use from virgin material. But the infrastructure for that is quite low. But this could well be the answer to a true circular economy in the plastics packaging area.
Thanks, Warren. So let's put it this way, what I understand, and it's important. Chemical recycling is not competing with the mechanical recycling. It's a complementary solution to the mechanical recycling. So we try to close the loop also inside the recycling of the product. So that's a good innovation also for the plastics industry's sustainability, as I understand. Just 1 minute and one question, and it's very hard for you to answer, but I know that Korozo is in the TVs in Turkey. It's one of the consumer brand plastics also in Turkey. You have a lot of garbage bags in the supermarkets, new advertisements. So you follow up the consumers and their let's say new behaviors. And how do you respond to them as Korozo?
As Korozo, to our consumers, we have, as you mentioned, we have two routes to our consumers. One of them is directly through our Coroplast brand. There, we're very close to our consumers and understanding their needs. Yes, we make garbage bags, so we literally make waste to hold waste. But all of our garbage bags, 40% of all the bags we put on the market use recycled polyethylene from our own production. We also are understanding, and of course are recyclable as well. They are pure polyethylene bags. And this has always been very key for Korozo from day one in these areas. We understand from our consumers that they don't want, look, people do not want to create waste. You know, people want to live a life. They want to be able to have the convenience that, for example, garbage bags provide for cleaning a house. They also want to have the convenience of another packaging type we make, which will help them to have a longer shelf life on their food. But they also they don't want to put waste on the environment. They want to be able to live that sustainable life from their perspective. So what we've noticed is we see a lot of statistics and a lot of surveys that show that consumers are probably willing to pay a little bit more for these recyclable products with post-consumer recycled material, etc., as we develop the scale economy here. But it's still, the jury's out on how long-term that will be. So it's at the moment about really ensuring that there's this balance for what our consumers want between the convenience that packaging provides and helps their lifestyle. And by the way, improves lives if you think about emerging economies. But on the other hand, that provides a pathway to a new end of life for those packaging products. We try our best to follow that, and I think working together with you is a key way to get there all together.
First of all, I'd like to thank both of you. It was a very fruitful and very informative panel with you. The last words I'd like to say is that also we are working with the Sürdürülebilirlik Akademisi PAGEV together, and we have signed an MOU to bring up a sustainable plastics packaging center, just to inform the industry and the interested stakeholders how to make eco-design, how to be making more with less, like weight reduction and this kind of things. And in the coming days, we would have much more of sustainable innovations also in the packaging industry. I'd like to thank you all again, and to our audience, and hope to see you in the next events. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.